Hi, welcome to today's video. My name is Paul. So this week, as you can see, is some charcoal landscape drawing. Originally, this was not the planned video. Originally, I wanted to do some painting this week. Especially, I wanted to try some acrylic painting. So I haven't done any acrylic painting for a long time, but I do have some old tubes of acrylic paint lying around. Now, I have no idea what state they're in, or if the paint is even usable, but I wanted to have a go and see what I could do and then share the results here on YouTube. Unfortunately, of course, plans don't always work out. So this week I got a bit sick. It's just a health problem I've had for a long time, and sometimes it flares up, and when it does, it sort of knocks me off course a little bit. So this week I wanted to do something, so I did some charcoal drawing. Charcoal drawing is easier for me to do because it's just easier to set up and it doesn't take very long. And even little things like I can sit down at a desk and do some charcoal sketching, whereas with painting I tend to stand up. So like I say, plans changed, but it's not terrible. I still really enjoy doing charcoal drawing, so maybe next week I'll be able to get a chance to do some painting. This week I also created a zine for the first time. So I had some idea of what a zine is, but I certainly wasn't an expert. So a zine is a kind of publication, but it's usually a handmade publication, a cheaply produced publication, and it was usually printed cheaply or even just photocopied, and it would contain art and articles and literature and poetry and lots of different things, photographs and things. So back in the day, back in sort of 60s, 70s, 80s, even the early 90s, before we had smartphones, before we had personal computers or notebooks or anything like that, before there was social media or even an internet, it was a good way, a zine was a good way for artists and poets and photographers and things to get their work out into the world and at least have some people see it. But recently zines have sort of made a little bit of a comeback. I don't think they're ever going to be as popular as they used to be, because artists and poets and such like these days can just get onto social media. They could start a YouTube channel, they could create a website and so on. So zines are no longer the only way for people to get their work and their message out into the world. But the process of creating a zine is itself quite a creative thing to do. So it was something I'd wanted to do for a while and decided to have a go this week. Now my zine is just all charcoal drawings, and it's not a book in the sense of I'm not trying to explain what I do or how to draw or anything like that. It's just a few words, a few sentences that sort of explain why I do landscapes. I'm just trying to put into words why I tend to paint landscapes. I do paint and draw other things, but I always tend to come back to landscape painting, landscape drawing. It's also the idea, and I've mentioned this before, of painting and drawing from memory. And memory is something that is fascinating to me as well. So it's part of why I produce art, and the way I produce it is all to do with landscapes and memory and how these things make us unique individuals. So anyway, I enjoyed the process of creating this zine, and my plan is to produce a few more this year. At the moment it is available on my Patreon page. Details in the description below if anybody's interested. In terms of the drawings this week, these are the two of the drawings. I prefer the one on the left. I think it has a better sense of depth and the composition is more interesting. But I enjoyed doing the two drawings. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.